Your savings goal does not fail because you are lazy. It fails because bills, rent, groceries, and small emergencies reach your paycheck before the goal does. This video shows how to turn a vague money goal into a simple payday system that can survive a normal month. You may set a goal with real hope, then watch ordinary bills, tired days, and small emergencies pull it apart. This is not a story about being foolish with money. It is about a normal person trying to feel safe, respected, or less behind, and then discovering that the choice meant to create relief can create a quieter kind of pressure. The trap begins when the answer becomes making the goal louder instead of making the system easier. That answer feels clean because it gives you something to do, but it skips the harder question underneath the numbers. The harder question is this: what action will happen even on a normal, imperfect week? That question matters because big goals break when the next action is unclear, too large, or disconnected from payday. If you do not name that force, it can keep making the decision for you while the choice still looks reasonable from the outside. Here is the reframe. A strong goal is not just an outcome, it is a repeatable behavior tied to a real rhythm. Once you see that, the topic stops being a debate and becomes a test of whether your life gets more room or less room. This matters because a clear goal turns scattered decisions into a path the viewer can actually follow. That pressure has to be explained in normal words before any tool can help. Most money advice rushes to the tool. It says, budget, save, invest, pay debt, earn more, or spend less. Those tools can help, but only after the real pressure has been named. Before a tool can work, you need to understand the moment when your mind wants relief faster than your future can afford. That moment is where many money choices quietly change direction. In that moment, the old question is usually, what will make me feel better right now? The stronger question is, what will still feel wise after the first feeling has passed? That is why a payday goal system has to be simple. It cannot depend on a perfect mood, a perfect month, or a perfect version of you. It has to be clear enough to use while life is ordinary. A goal becomes real when it has a place on the calendar and a behavior on payday. Without that, even a beautiful goal can float above the month without touching it. The smaller first step is not weakness, it is design. A step that repeats is stronger than a perfect plan that only works when your life is quiet. When you miss a week, the goal should have a way back. That return path is what keeps a normal mistake from becoming the story that you cannot change. Here is the part that matters most. The problem is not only the money choice, it is the pressure that gets to make the choice when no clear rule is standing there first. Test 1 is the specific test. The goal needs a number, a purpose, and a first action. Put the answer in plain language, and if there is a number, let the number be visible before the feeling edits it. If this test makes the choice feel heavier, that is not failure. It is information arriving while there is still time to use it. A clear answer may feel uncomfortable, but it is kinder than a beautiful guess. Test 2 is the small test. The first step must be easy enough to repeat when motivation is low. Give the question enough quiet to tell the truth, because rushed answers often protect pride instead of peace. If the answer is uncomfortable, it may still be kind because it is showing the cost before the cost becomes permanent. The truth does not have to be dramatic to be useful. It only has to be honest enough to guide the next move. Test 3 is the connected test. A goal tied to payday has a better chance than a goal tied to mood. Do not turn the answer into shame. Turn it into a clearer map of what the next month can carry. If the test slows you down, let it slow you down. A slower decision can protect years of breathing room. This is where a vague worry becomes a decision you can actually work with. Test 4 is the reviewed test. A goal that is never checked becomes a wish with better wording. Let the answer be specific, because vague pressure is much harder to change than an honest limit. If the choice still feels strong after the test, it will feel cleaner because it has survived more than excitement. The value of the test is that it turns pressure into something you can name before money moves. Now look at the emotional layer. Money choices are rarely only about money. They can carry fear, pride, exhaustion, comparison, hope, family expectations, and the private wish to finally feel okay. That is why shame is a weak teacher. Shame makes you hide from the numbers. Curiosity lets you look at them long enough to change them. You are not trying to become cold, perfect, or extreme. You are trying to build a life where your goal becomes a repeatable rhythm instead of pressure. That kind of life usually starts with a calmer question, not a louder promise. Comparison will try to interrupt the answer. Someone else may show the exciting part of their choice and leave out the payment, the risk, the stress, the repair, the delay, or the pressure behind it. Your money cannot follow someone else's outside picture. It has to answer your own income, your own bills, your own energy, and your own season of life. Move 1 is one target. Choose the goal that removes the most pressure first. Make the next step visible enough that you can find it when the month gets loud. This is quiet work, but quiet work can remove private pressure. Move 2 is payday action. Move the money or make the payment before the month gets noisy. Attach it to a real moment like payday, a bill date, or a weekly check-in, so it does not depend on memory. It may not impress anyone, but it can make the next decision feel less trapped. Move 3 is visible tracker. Track the next 10 repetitions, not the whole distant mountain. Keep it small enough to repeat, because a useful move has to survive ordinary tired days. The win is not drama. The win is one more piece of your future staying available. Move 4 is monthly reset. Adjust the plan without turning one missed week into failure. Write it where you will see it before the old pattern starts negotiating again. If it gives the next month even a little more room, it is doing real work. There is also a timing truth. The same decision can be wise later and heavy today. A choice is not only judged by what it is judged by whether your current foundation can carry it. If the foundation is thin, even a good-looking choice can create fear. If the foundation is stronger, the same choice may become peaceful. Timing is not weakness. Timing is part of wisdom. So do not ask only whether the idea is good. Ask whether it is good for this month, this income, this level of protection, and this nervous system. The path forward is not dramatic. First, name the real pressure. Second, run the tests. Third, choose the next small move. Fourth, repeat it before you judge whether your whole life has changed. Small repetition can feel unimpressive, but repetition is how money begins to trust you, and it is also how you begin to trust yourself with money again. When you repeat a clear choice, your future becomes less vague. You know what comes first. You know what can wait. You know which feeling is allowed to speak, but not allowed to drive. That is the quiet power of a clear goal rhythm. It does not make life perfect. It makes the next decision less rushed, less hidden, and less controlled by fear. One day, the change may look small from the outside. Maybe nothing about your life appears dramatic, but inside, a bill feels less threatening, a decision feels less urgent, and your future does not feel as if it is being negotiated away in secret. That inner change matters. Money is not only a scoreboard, it is the distance between pressure and panic. It is the ability to wait, to say no, to choose slowly, and to recover when life interrupts the plan. If you have already made the heavy version of this choice, the lesson is not to attack yourself. The lesson is to make the next honest move. You can renegotiate, pause, reduce, sell, save, earn, or simply stop adding new weight while you rebuild room. If you are standing before the choice right now, let slowness protect you. A decision that can shape years deserves more than one emotional afternoon. Ask the plain question again. What action will happen even on a normal, imperfect week? The answer may not flatter your ego, but it can protect your peace. And if the answer says wait, waiting is not losing. Waiting can be the doorway that lets you choose later without fear attached. If the answer says proceed, proceed with margin, proceed with protection, proceed with numbers you can live with when nobody is applauding. That is how the lesson becomes a parable instead of a lecture. The point is not that one option is always right and another is always wrong. The point is that money choices must serve the life behind them. Because the real goal is not to look like you made the grown-up choice. The real goal is to wake up inside that choice and still feel free enough to breathe. At this point, the action should feel almost plain. That is a good sign. The most useful money moves often look too simple because their power comes from being repeated in the right order. A calm plan also needs a boundary. Without a boundary, making the goal louder instead of making the system easier can return the next time you are tired, hopeful, embarrassed, or afraid of falling behind. So make the boundary practical. Choose the number, the delay, the rule, or the conversation that protects the choice before emotion makes it blurry again. Then let the next paycheck become evidence. Not evidence that you are perfect, but evidence that you can pause, choose, and give the future a little more room than it had before. If the first attempt is messy, keep the lesson small. A messy attempt still shows where the pressure lives, and that is better than letting the pressure stay unnamed. The quiet win is that you become harder to rush. You can still feel fear, hope, or desire, but those feelings no longer get to sign every financial decision alone. You stop using goals as pressure and start using them as direction. A goal becomes powerful when it stops depending on a perfect version of you. You do not need the loudest answer. You need the clearest next choice, repeated calmly enough that your future finally gets more room.